I'm smart, so I should be able to overpower ADHD. Right. ADHD is distributed across individuals of all intellectual levels, and some of those individuals have high IQs. There is significant overlap of characteristics among people with ADHD, high IQ, and creativity, like curiosity, impatience, high energy, low tolerance for boredom, charisma, nonconformity, risk-taking, and resistance to authority. High IQ people with attention deficit often excel at tasks requiring divergent thinking, which is spontaneous and non-linear, out-of-the-box thinking. They are usually less successful at tasks requiring convergent thinking, which requires accuracy, logic, and speed, the math SAT thinking. Many high IQ adults who struggle with ADHD symptoms wonder why their condition is considered to be less than credible. Many assume that a high IQ makes everything in life easier, including the management of ADHD. However, research tells us that a high IQ does not protect anyone from the executive dysfunction or emotional dysregulation typical of ADHD. Despite their strengths and talents, high IQ adults with ADHD demonstrate more cognitive difficulties, functional impairments, and comorbidities than do high IQ adults without ADHD. In fact, the severity of their executive function impairments, especially in working memory and processing speed, does not differ from that in average IQ adults with ADHD. What these intriguing individuals do have is a unique set of challenges. Those who grow up celebrated as smart internalize their intellect as a foundation of their identities and a source of self-esteem. They know that they carry the expectation of success. Thriving in school with little effort, they have been told that success will be theirs. But here's where the path begins to diverge for those with ADHD. Due to the developmental delays that characterize ADHD, children with the condition tend to lag 3 to 5 years behind their chronological peers in social-emotional functioning. Such extreme discrepancies in functioning are baffling to those living with them, as well as to those observing them. Potential becomes a 4-letter word. Intellectual prowess falters in those with ADHD as academic demands grow in speed and complexity. Confused by their inconsistent achievement, they find themselves unable to realize their potential. Parents and teachers usually attribute their underachievement to boredom, carelessness, laziness, or lack of caring, and these bright, demoralized teens have no better explanations. Rather than acknowledge the complexity that ADHD adds to any task, they attribute their struggles to their flaws. Academic achievement is highly susceptible to impairment by ADHD. Studies show that 42% of high IQ ADHD adults have dropped out of college at least once. Nonetheless, they still believe that their intellect should enable them to triumph over their impairments. A high IQ can make it easier to compensate for ADHD symptoms. High IQ adults with ADHD appear to function well, but this comes at a high emotional cost. Investing much time and energy to present a flawless public persona, they rely on obsessive behaviors to guarantee organization and structure. However successfully they manage their cycles of procrastination and hyperfocus, they inevitably feel burdened and exhausted. High IQ adults with ADHD feel most successful when their performance doesn't reflect the challenges over which they triumph each day. If they are not overtly suffering, nor appear to be in need, it is unlikely that they will get the support they need. The combination of pride and shame deters them from revealing their inner experience, and, as a result, they are isolated with their burdens. Without the history of difficulties required for diagnosis, and given their high functioning, they present with a form of ADHD unfamiliar to most clinicians. If they are ever diagnosed, their diagnoses will likely be delayed until comorbid issues complicate their difficulties. The result of coping well is that the struggle remains secret, but no less damaging. The fall from grace, when it comes, often involves revisiting the glowing recognition earned in the past. They judge themselves harshly, ashamed that they can't process faster, remember more, follow through better, be less emotionally reactive. It is painful to accept that they're working twice as hard, for twice as long, to achieve half as much. What's ahead after getting help with high achieving ADHD? Those who dwell at that random intersection of the genes for high IQ and ADHD have abilities that, properly channeled, define our entrepreneurs and our leaders. There is no shortage of successful people with ADHD. What makes the difference is the lens through which you view yourself relative to the rest of your world. The good news is that you can reframe the ways in which you label yourself, once you recognize that you applied those labels in the first place, and only you can peel them off. 6 steps to accepting yourself, ADHD, IQ, and all. Having someone bear witness to your experience is the first step towards self-acceptance. Learn everything you can about your ADHD brain. Strip away labels. Break out of the prison of isolation. Remind yourself that most people juggle issues that make the world less predictable. Optimize your functioning through better self-care, diet, sleep, exercise, stress management, hobbies, and relaxation. Celebrate your gifts.